So there's been a request sent to me to review the channel Red Pill Philosophy. Yep, I know, just a regular batshit crazy conspiracy theorist. I've known about him for a while, but I've never actually watched any of his content until now. Honestly, I didn't think it'd be this crazy. Recently, he's released a series of videos talking about COVID-19 on his YouTube channel, so we're just gonna skip around and watch a few of them. I do apologize in advance though, since they are indeed pretty crazy.
I just left a Pollo Tropical. Tropical chicken is the translation, and you know they got the guys with the face mask, and the guy working there, he's just busting his ass. He's like, "How you doing, man?" I'm like, "I'm doing good, bro. You whatever." And then as I get the food and I pay and I'm about to leave, I'm like, "Hey, man, I hope," because he's got this face mask on, and they all got it on. And it's torture and it's evil, man.
I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic. You can say the restaurant policies are evil and whatnot, but that doesn't change the fact that these face masks are absolutely necessary. Maybe not for many people, but if you work at a restaurant where you pack people's food into containers, it's pretty essential that you don't accidentally transmit the virus to a customer. Workers could be unknowingly infected because of the incubation period. And this doesn't apply just to restaurant workers, it applies to any service really. But restaurants have to be especially careful because their goods actually go into the mouths of other people. Maybe you say now that masks are evil, but think about it this way. You could have been infected if it weren't for these masks. The restaurant you ordered takeout the other day, someone could have been infected and sneezed at some point in the direction of your food. And if it weren't for the mask, you would have ingested the virus. We tend to take these things for granted because they prevent. We don't actually see the outcome that would have happened if the masks weren't being worn. So we take the masks for granted and undervalue their importance. Of course, that doesn't mean you shouldn't take precautions of your own, because you most definitely should.
And I'm like, bro, I hope this shit ends soon, so I tell him. I hope this all ends soon so you can take that damn face mask on, bro. I know that shit's uncomfortable. And, he's like, yeah, man. And, after he starts showing me, he pulls the strap around his ear off. And, he's like, man, after an 8-hour shift, these little bands around my ear, they dig into the back of my ear and they leave marks.
Yeah, some masks are pretty garbage. They can be too tight and hurt your ears after just an hour. But I think at the end of the day, it just depends on the quality of those masks. If you're wearing, say, an N95 mask, they're required to be tight around your face. But those loose surgical masks should be enough to prevent you from spreading your respiratory droplets around. So yeah, I get it sucks, but it's still necessary to have.
And I told him, I've heard some people say that these face masks are unhealthy. He's like, they are unhealthy. And he goes on to tell me, he's like, you're actually breathing in your exhales all day, carbon dioxide all day, and that can actually, cause issues health-wise.
What? Come on, let's be real. You're just gonna base your knowledge on something you've heard instead of actually verifying if that's true? Sure, the masks can be difficult to breathe in, because you're breathing in a portion of the carbon dioxide back in, but at most it'll just increase your respiratory speed. What sort of damage are you talking about? I agree, for some people, such as those with pre-existing breathing problems such as COPD, might not want to wear masks because it could possibly be intolerable. But for the regular healthy person, it shouldn't be an issue. If you think just getting slightly less oxygen is unhealthy, then every time you hold your breath, it'd be damaging your body. Imagine swimmers, they're probably all dead by now, except that they're not. The only thing that is dead are your brain cells.
We're all sitting here bending over to this shit.
Anyway, let's take a look at another video he recently released. This one will be slightly longer.
The imploding reputation of healthcare workers. And I say healthcare in quotations. Wow. If this whole corona nonsense hasn't exposed the insane patheticness, that's not even a word, but I'm going to use it because it's applicable right now, patheticness of what we call the healthcare industry. Now, I get it. They got to pay off those student loans that they took on when they were told that they were heroes for joining the healthcare industry.
Yeah, target the healthcare workers specifically for whatever reason, as if they make more money if more patients come in. Do you think doctors and nurses are paid on a per patient basis? Each patient you treat, you get $100 or something? Yeah, it's totally that way. They're totally not being put on a yearly salary. Not to mention that healthcare workers that take on advanced degrees, such as an MD, make quite a lot of money already, not necessarily at the beginning of their residency, of course, but more so afterwards. So it's not like student loans are really a problem for most of them. Of course, that depends on the individual and the position itself. yourself. People become doctors and nurses because they want to help people. The path to medicine is not easy, and you really need to be carried by your desire to do good. I've never seen a single person wanting to go to medical school because it pays well. It feels like you know so little about the lives of healthcare workers and their ambitions in life. If you could please do me a favor and stop making absolute hot garbage videos like this, that'd be nice. Oh, by the way, a lot of doctors actually have experienced reduced pay and reduced hours because of this. Why, you ask? Because doctors are specialized to whatever field they're in. You can't just take a radiologist, for example, and expect them to perform surgery. Meanwhile, you can't expect a surgeon to diagnose and manage patients on ventilators. Because of the spread of COVID-19, less people are coming in for other types of treatments. If you were expecting a bone surgery, for example, you'd probably choose to wait until the pandemic has settled down before going in for one. This is especially the case for non-life-threatening illnesses. As a result, the doctors that do specialize in those fields may see reduced hours because they have less patients, and as a result, they get paid less. So what, only some doctors are in on this?
But my God, the money-making power grab under the guise of fighting the coronavirus.
Geez, you sound like someone who only washes his hands for 10 seconds. Without soap.
That we have witnessed is trumped only by the disgusting videos of healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, dancing on TikTok as the towers on 9/11 collapsed.
You're kind of pathetic, aren't you? Being triggered by a few TikTok videos of people dancing. That probably would be in the bottom 10 things that I would be triggered by. Normally people get mad at politics, their enemies, or their teammates in a game of League of Legends. But you're here making an entire video because some people uploaded a few clips of dancing healthcare workers. Move on with your life, man.
After the coronavirus pandemic, they've basically brought the TSA everywhere. Everywhere you go now is the TSA. Police guarding the streets, busybodies keeping an eye on you, checking you, watching your behavior.
I don't know where you live, but that's certainly not the case where I live. I'm sure you're way over exaggerating everything. No one is watching your every move. Some places have just chosen to be more secure by making sure you follow certain rules like wearing a face mask when entering a grocery store or testing on the streets like they do in multiple countries. Here's my stance that I'm not ashamed to admit. If we can enforce rules such as wearing face masks or requiring you to self-quarantine if you're sick, that's worth it in order to contain the spread of the virus. Sure, your freedom to go outside when sick or the freedom to not wear a mask may be infringed, but you're harming others if you don't follow such rules. I'm sorry, but your desire to do whatever you want does not triumph over the lives of others. It just doesn't.
Signs on the floor navigating how you can go through a grocery store.
Oh my god, oh no, my freedom is being violated because I have to follow arrows on the floor. Oh no, someone call the police.
And as much as you and I hate to put on these discriminatory face masks, we have no choice. What are we going to do, starve to death?
Discriminatory? What's discriminatory about it? If a rule requires you to wear a mask, it applies to everyone. What do you mean discriminatory? If it's like, okay, only men must wear face masks for no reason, then yeah, that's discrimination. I guess by wearing these masks, we're discriminating against the entire human race because other animals don't have to wear it.
Everybody knows stress, anxiety, depression can compromise the immune system. Everybody understands these things. All while one group of people seem to be the least stressed of all.
What's funny is that you claim that healthcare workers are the least stressed, but yet 5 seconds ago you just played a clip where it says the ICU staff at Sentara Lay Hospital is taking dance breaks to lower their stress. Look, we're all a bit stressed right now. A lot of people, for example, have been laid off and have to deal with income shortages, but in no way does that undermine the stress felt by the doctors and nurses who have to risk their own lives to treat other people. You and I at home recording these videos are probably one of the least stressed right now.
Good morning, good evening, good night, I guess, wherever the hell you are at on this beautiful plane we live on. So the World Health Organization, in their own documents and their own scientific studies, admit that depression can be caused by things like unemployment. Yet, the World Health Organization's very prescription for fighting the corona nonsense was to shut the whole economy down and create rampant unemployment.
Yes, unemployment will make a lot of people stressed and depressed, but we're fighting a pandemic here which will literally take the lives of tens of thousands of people. Shutdown was necessary to make sure we don't lose as many people as possible. And here's the thing, here in the US the response to COVID-19 has been so bad, the situation could have been mitigated so much more. If we handled this pandemic better, we wouldn't have to be in lockdown for as long. At the end of the day, lockdowns and economic damages are only temporary, but the lives we lose to COVID-19 are never coming back.
Irrespective of whether or not stress actually does compromise the immune system, it doesn't really matter to me specifically. But just in terms of how you live your life, and how if you live by fear, you make irrational decisions like wearing a fucking face mask everywhere you go. Like ordering food from the streets so 20 different strangers put their hands on it, and then an Uber driver getting paid $4 an hour drops it off on your porch, and you think because the CDC and the media told you as long as you microwave that food that 20 strangers touched for 30 seconds in the microwave, you're not gonna get the big bad boogeyman coronavirus.
Heat does kill the virus if you cook it for long enough, but microwaving it doesn't always evenly heat up the food, so I'd recommend putting it in the oven instead. But then for real, your chances of getting the virus from your food delivery is so low that I personally wouldn't even do that. Anyway, that's my time for today. Big thanks to Fireshard, Liam, Don Jessica, Joe Goldenberg, and JN. I hope you are all staying safe, and I'll see you next week.